for your vision. What inspired you to create 305 Fights, and how does the platform represent the spirit and culture of Miami's fighting MMA community?
I've been doing martial arts since I was 10 years old. I'm 62, so it's been a while that I've been doing martial arts. Started martial arts because my parents came as immigrants in the 60s, and they were placed in refugee housing, which was in the ghetto, in the Pork and Beans Project in Alapata. And my mom took us to the YMCA. So, the martial arts and the YMCA could help us become better citizens, better people. So we started martial arts. I started martial arts there. I just love the martial arts. It's helped me in life and with a lot of life skills. And I continued the martial arts. Then I met my partner, Ewa, who is the brains, the beauty, and the business behind our success. And she said, she inspired me. She said, you have all the talent, you have all the skills, you have all the knowledge. I'll back you up. Why don't you do your own league? Because we've owned and operated schools, we've done events, we've been doing this for a long time. But I wanted to get into combat sports like MMA because it's the biggest thing happening now. And it was a little challenging getting in. And she says, well, instead of trying to getting in, why don't I'll help you, I'll back you up, you can do this. Why don't we do it ourselves? And instead of getting in, we'll actually be in already ourselves. And we started 305 Fights Entertainment and Combat Sports. 2017. In 2017, because again, in the, I think 80, in the 93 MMA and Combat Sports started, the UFC started. And we ever since we're going great. Now, how do we represent South Florida at 305 Fights? Well, I think we represent South Florida at 305 Fights, and we represent people in general. Like a lot of people say, well, you put 305 Fights, but that's only in Miami, South Florida, because the logo says where champions rise. Because our parents being immigrants and anybody that's in the American dream, what are they trying to do? They're trying to rise.
Yeah, trying to get up.
They're trying to get up, right? So everybody's trying to rise, everybody's trying to get up. How do you do that? By putting time, energy, effort, hard work, like we were speaking before, having a passion for what you're doing. And that's how I grew up around this kind of atmosphere and culture where,
how does 305 Fights help develop local amateur fighters and give them a platform to grow inside and outside of the cage? And you were already talking about the highlights of the mentorship, the exposure, and the media coverage for those individual people.
Correct.
Tell us.
Well, we were just talking actually to Rodolfo Roman, who's an announcer. He's an announcer for a lot of famous events and big events. We have a great team like yourself, DJ Arturo, and that really helped the program. He was saying, you guys actually do what you promised to do. And they go, yeah, what is that? Help the fighters. Because we have juniors, kids, which are 18 and under, sport, MMA. We have amateur MMA, adult, before they become professionals and before they go champions. So we provide a platform for those people that are striving to become champions or to get into combat sports, where they can hone their skills, they can learn, they can promote themselves, they can market themselves. We also have entertainment, and we have platform for entertainment.
The Divas.
Correct. The Divas was actually her idea. Like I told you, when I say
it's fabulous job. I love the Divas.
Okay. Like when I tell you, I'm glad she deals with them. The Divas was her idea on, instead of having the ring girls, because we're always about trying to make everything look different. Because Miami's very different. I mean, if you want a melting pot and you want different, you come to Miami. And so we didn't want the ring girls just holding the signs up, whatever. We want the entertainment value of my parents are Latinos, of the Latino, of the music and the energy,
the vibe, the
vibe. So she said, why don't we get dancers and we make them the divas, and they represent 305, and they're actually dancing and performing. So they're providing entertainment, plus they get a platform also. Like they're going to be doing a song this show, and at the end of the show, they're all taking out their flags, and it's Colombia, Santo Domingo, it's like all the different countries. And that's working out really, really great. We also have a local performer that just did a song for us. How does the song say?
No, I'm not going to sing.
I'm in the 305.
You got to go on March 7th to hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm in the 305 with the Champions Rise. He's a local artist, a rap artist. He contacted us and says, I want to promote myself. can I be on your platform? And yeah, sure. And he goes, I created a song for you guys. I go, send me the song. Now he's going to be performing a song. I'm in the 305 where the champions rise. We can provide a platform, and a lot of people, I call them the talent, the fighters and the artists, the divas, they're all talent. A lot of talented people have risen. We say when the champions have gone really to high levels, made money, getting themselves known, and that's a blessing and fortunate to have a platform that you can provide to do that. We always say that we become, I guess, known by making them known.
Cool. How many fighters, you go through about 12 matches in an event? How many, you do 4 events a year?
Yes.
Usually March, June, September, and then one November right before
yes.
December?
We try to do an event at least every 3 months. So it comes out to 4 events. We've had the minimum 14 fights. Now we have 22 fights. It's a stacked card. But if, let's say 25.
22 first the 7th?
Yes.
Yes, gonna work.
That's a record.
Yeah. So we're very fortunate and blessed. People want to come and fight with us. Today, somebody said, because you guys are really professional, you really help, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to try to focus to do. But if you think 20 fights, 2 fighters, that's 40 fighters. Plus their corners, plus their families. It's really a lot of people. And plus the businesses, the sponsors, the number really grows. Why did I get into martial arts? Because martial arts is not just about kicking and punching. Martial arts has developed life skills. What are life skills? Well, martial arts is respect and honor. Without virtues, without life skills, you can't do anything. You can't fight, you can't run a paper, you cannot do anything in life. If you decide later on to be a fighter, whatever, that's a road you can take, or to be an instructor like myself, that's another road you can take. But even in this fight, if you go and you look in the corner, who do we have in the corner? We have coaches from UFC fighters, Hall of Famers, like the coach of Joel Romero, Professor Lai, Pedro Lai, they're in the corners. We have world-renowned coaches and ex-fighters in the corners. His son started with us, won a championship. He became a professional. Now he's a professional with a major management company, and he's continuing his career. So a lot of people, that's what we're here for doing. We're accomplishing a mission.
I've studied 305 fights for a long time. You guys are actually on fight number 26. Where do you see 305 fights in the next 5 years, and what impact do you hope it will have on South Florida's combat sports scene?
Well, I hope that we continue doing something positive and creative and expansive for ourselves, for our family members, for our society, for our citizens. I would like to expand more in the media aspect to where we have a local channel or digital channel and reach more people. We have a big Latino melting pot in South Florida that I think we can reach Central South America, the Caribbean, through the media platforms to reach out more people, to give more exposure to all this incredible talent that we have and all these people they're trying to rise. The ripple effects are really incredible because, like I said, we've had artists like people playing violin, jugglers, graffiti artists, singers, songwriters, not only fighters that do combat sports like MMA, kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, all the different schools, all the different family members. Indirectly, we have vendors, people selling hot dogs. Indirectly, the security, everybody's been working with us has expanded their business, has expanded their contacts, has expanded their life, that have grown. And that's our mission. Our mission is to, again, create people that they go through their life skills. And they might not necessarily be fighters. You have people that clean up the auditorium. There's people that clean up the auditorium.
I can vouch for that. Yeah. I can vouch that every time that I go to a fight, I see at least 1 or 2 new faces. And the people that are still there, that have always been there, it's more of a family every time.
We have fighters that are people that need a job. And we provide a job like handing out the gear, helping out in the fight. So, and a lot of people have progressed. And I think that's the greatest value. I mean, can you imagine you're making a name for yourself, you're promoting yourself, and you're making money by helping others? I mean, can you ask for anything more?
The support system that you guys have together is incredible.
Thank you.
I don't think that either one of you would have made it as far as if you didn't have each
No,
other.
for sure. I mean, I know even in my personal life, because I've been doing this for a while, teaching and hustling and trying to do this, and I never would got organized, professional, or even smart. Smarter. Yeah. Everything. I believe everything is a co-creation.
I think it's important that I am part of this organization because they see me and they see, oh, okay, she runs all the behind the scenes and organize this and that, so they can see themselves maybe a little bit and get inspired to it. We also have girls like last event that they also are fighting and join the organization like that. So we just basically doing our best, enjoying what we do, and that I think just brings back that energy to us. I'm not so much into like trying to preach or be an example. I'm just do me and do the best I can, and then whatever anybody can get and help them, good.
Not only from a
Agree.
female perspective, they see that a female runs the company because she does run the company. I just enjoy what the run company she's doing. I enjoy teaching. I learning and practicing. But for example, we have a female DJ, which is very different. I'm always creating different. We have a lot of female fighters. We've opened it up for female fighters. Even in the UFC, when they had the first female, they would say it's not going to work. A female's never going to work. And she was the biggest money maker.
The female fights are extremely intense. I see the female fighters more intense than the men. The women, they cut their hair, brother. They have their hair down to the butt and they cut it off because they're about to go get in a fight.
Listen, man, that's a lot of pent up rage. They've been holding it in. Right.
Yeah. So it really opens up doors, a lot of doors for a lot of people.
That's very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And may I say one more thing?
Brother, your story inspires me. Please speak freely.
No, I would like to thank all of you guys for your time and energy.
You say you started when you were a little kid. So what is your advice and recommendation for children and how they move up?
My advice, and she said something that we follow is I have this shirt and the back says action is my religion. I don't like to give advice. I like to do it and then let the work speak for itself. But I would tell any human being that wants to be successful. What is successful? Life, health, and success. If you want to have life, if you want to be healthy, and if you want to be successful mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you have to do things that you have to do something. You have to have a method of empowerment. You must do something that empowers you, that empowers your mind, body, and spirit. And martial arts and science, the word art is there for a reason. It's a method, believe it or not, to make yourself physically healthier, mentally healthier, spiritual. It empowers people. That's why I say it gives you life skills that you need to deal with somebody on the phone, to deal with traffic, because we have computers help us make our work easier. But what helps us be human beings easier? That's martial arts.
If we understand how to fight the good fight.
It's martial arts, because martial arts is not just about fighting. Martial arts has a philosophy and a history that, again, it shows respect, it shows honor, it shows consideration, spiritual, because everybody has their own definition of spiritual. And what I define as spiritual is the emotional and mental aspect. In fact, I told the fighter, I said, you're training the body and the mind, but how do you train the spirit? Because you can say the word spirit. And people say the word spirit and it's very spiritual, but like if you tell me, how do you train your bicep? Well, you do a bicep curl, you know the exercise. But what's the exercise to train the spirit? See, I've learned this, all this information I actually learned through the martial arts. It's not just kicking and punching. Very simple answer. Virtues. Virtues is the way to work and strengthen the spirit. What is a virtue? Wisdom, benevolence, trustworthiness, righteousness, propriety, which are the 5 elements. Respect, honor. Virtue is the gym to strengthen the spirit. So if you work the virtues, you work the spirit. This is beyond religion. I don't use the word religion, beyond religion. The essence, what is the essence? Is the virtues. You work the virtues, you work the spirit. For example, the fighter, physically he's working out, When he gets tired and he says, I'm tired, but I know I can do it.
That's perseverance.
Perseverance, willpower, that's the spirit. Because perseverance and willpower is beyond the physical, beyond color, creed, beyond everything. So those are the elements of the spirit. I like that question because those are the kind of questions and things that I'm into. And that's why I got into this. It's not just, not the physical. Like you see, that's a great question. And you see that now, that's a big question, a big topic now about emotional health. And you'll see a person that's successful. Okay, what do you qualify successful? Fame, position, or profit. That's what Western people say. If you have fame, position, or profit, you're successful. Not necessarily. Okay, you can pay for dinner, but you go and kill yourself in a hotel. You hang yourself from the closet. And you see a lot of athletes now, even though they're champions and they have money, everything, they hit suicide. So what is that telling you? That maybe their physical is strong, but their emotion is not. They have a lot of emotional. So how does it help? Well, first you have to understand what are emotions. Emotions are your human GPS. The car has a GPS, it's a guiding system. We have a guiding system, it's called our emotions. Our emotions tell us if we're going the right way or the wrong way. We sometimes don't listen to our emotions or instincts, or we don't understand what emotions are. Like people think anger is a bad emotion. No, anger is not a bad emotion because anger sometimes makes you get up and do something. The worst emotion is hopelessness. That's why through my brother, I met a gentleman that made the Will Smith movie. What was the Will Smith movie about? The Pursuit of Happiness. And he said, I was homeless, but I wasn't hopeless. See, that was a big thing. That's your emotions. So you learn what emotions are. What is the emotional scale? What are the good emotions? What are the worst emotions? So then you can guide yourself through emotions. For example, if you get angry, it's okay. The anger will make you do something about it. Get up and make a change or get up and do something about it. When you're hopeless, that you see no possibilities, that's why I like my logos, research of possibilities, not pursue limitations. That's when you start getting into this, you can say, a negative depression state. Now, one of the other factors that we have in martial arts is, again, I'm not talking about religion, it's meditation. Meditation is important. Why? Because you have to sit and deal with yourself. And how can you fix an emotion if you don't recognize it? So you recognize the emotion, and then you say, okay, what is it in my scale, my vibrational scale? I'm talking about vibration, frequency. Tesla said vibration, energy, and frequency. Where am I? Okay, for example, happy. Happy is a good emotion, and you want to continue happy. But you know what I like more than happy? Joyful. Because you can be happy, be sad. Happy, sad, then you're like a ping pong. You're bipolar. But joyful gives you hope, gives you reach for possibilities. And meditation is so good. I've had students and people that you see. I had a young lady. I would just 5 minutes of just sitting and breathing and being with yourself, with this incredible thing that the divine architect created, which was you. Just being 5 minutes with you. And within 10 seconds, I can't do this. And I said, well, ask yourself a question. If you can't be 10 seconds with yourself, isn't there something going on? Right? And there was. She was an alcoholic and a drug addict. Now, I didn't tell her to give up drugs or alcohol. I just told her, keep doing your meditation, run 5 miles a week, every day. And she would die and throw up and die and throw up, and she couldn't meditate. And then one day she did the 5 minutes, and then the other day she finished running. And I said, well, how did you do that? She goes, well, if I didn't do it, I would die. Because the drugs and the alcohol was killing me. See, she realized it by herself. Through this method and process that the martial arts and sciences provide. And it's funny because you know what's funny is that I'm glad for this interview, and I'm glad I'm communicating this, because people see the fighter and they see the fight and the action, and they think what I do is just this. That's like saying that I am only what you see. You have limited me to such a minute thing. And not a human being is not just what you see. Human being is part of the cosmos. It's much bigger than this.
Wow.
We have had fighters that if you hear their stories,
Oh yes.
you would be I say this and
And
people
why
don't.
don't I?
We were doing an interview like this, and at that time we had a sponsor that was a TV station, and they have fame, position, and profit. And sometimes when you have that, you forget about being human, the human factor. And I say the stories behind this are amazing, and they're not really listening to that. They're thinking about the hype and everything else. The media sells you. Um, and the fighter's doing an interview, and I said, "Is there anything you want to say?" And he says, "Well, I want to thank everybody because to everybody it's just a fight. But this means everything to me. I'm living in the streets and my father's getting arrested." And he just started sobbing and saying a story, and everybody was like, and I looked at everybody and said, I wasn't lying about what I'm saying. This is life. This is real.
It requires empathy and heart.
Yeah, yes. And so we've had, the stories you can't imagine. You couldn't. That's one of the things of the media, which one of the ideas she had that we haven't developed is just sponsorship. Because one thing I've learned that everything takes money, it's not just passion. Is a reality documentary series where we film
the individual fighters. You started that.
and the
already.
process behind the process and what happens. We have guys that come over. They come from another country in a boat in the ocean through sharks by themselves, and they tape to their chest their certificate of martial arts, their pictures. So just in case they drown, it dies with them. These are some incredible stories. And I think about this. If you did a reality documentary and you expose that, wow, because it's not just what you see
It's so much more encompassing.
encompassing.
Yes.